All right, so we are back. We are back, and I'd like to apologize to you guys for my previous video. My previous video was just terrible. You couldn't hear anything. The gain on the microphone was way too low, and you couldn't hear nothing. So I had to delete the video, and I had to redo it again, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually redoing the video that I did previously. Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the PlayStation 5 and the 8K televisions for 2020. Should you buy 8K television this year, or should you wait till 2020? Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I do check my forums, I do go to Facebook, I do go to Twitter to look at my Twitter direct message feed, and also my Facebook Messenger feed, and of course the comments from the YouTube videos that I get. And one reoccurring question that always comes up is, Mr. 4K, should I purchase an 8K television this year? Oh, well, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that on this video. Well, here's the thing. First, you need to understand a couple of things. Currently, right now, there is really no 8K content for you to like truly appreciate the 8K. Granted, you can go on the internet, you can find some 8K demos from Japan, China, and other places, and you can look at that quick 5-minute, 4-minute demo, okay? But it's not like there's truckload of 8K content for you to jump on and enjoy. All right. Now, one important thing. Yes, you will be able to upscale. Obviously, the television has to upscale that 33 million pixels on that television. Now, here's the trick. For you to truly appreciate that 8K 33 million pixel resolution, you're going to need a bigger canvas. We're talking a bigger TV. I've seen some of you guys posted on my forums with this Samsung QA, Samsung 8K television that's 65 inch, and it's $5,000, $4,800, close to $5,000. Guys, 65 inch, it's just not going to cut it. 65 inch is just not big enough. It's not big enough canvas for you to appreciate 33 million pixels. Granted, the imagery will look sharper, just like this game will look much sharper being upscaled to 33 million pixels. It's going to look dense, it's going to look sharp, but that's not what it's about. Remember, it's not about the sharpness, it's about you seeing every and each detail. It's about you seeing stuff that you normally couldn't see with a certain lower resolution. But in order for you to achieve that fidelity of detail, you gotta have a bigger screen. Okay, so what would be the ideal for, 8K? What would be the ideal 8K television? Well, for the starters, you need to go with 75 inch. That's like basics, like the basic you should have is 75 inch for 8K. This just to get your feet wet so you can get some I cannot talk. Otacon, what's going on? You're gonna get some basic idea on how 8K, what 8K can deliver with 75 inch. Okay, but you're still not gonna experience that fidelity that the 8K can bring. The only way you can appreciate the 8K currently, in my opinion, would be with a 155 inch or 200 inch, hell, even 300 inch 8K laser projector. The 8K laser projector will give you that fidelity and detail that you're going to appreciate on your movies. All your favorite movies will look just marvelous on a big giant canvas of 155 inch or 200 inch big giant screen. The 8K, the high resolution, needs a bigger screen for you to appreciate it. And I think projectors are definitely that one thing that will give you that fidelity detail. Now, moving on to a television. 75 inch, it's a good start to get your feet wet so you can have some better understanding as to what 8K can actually deliver. But getting a 65 inch, here's the deal. This year, if you can find a 8K television, 65 inch 8K television for like $3,500 or $3,200, like really cheap, if you can find that 65 inch 8K, then I say go for it. I cannot talk. I apologize. But don't expect to truly appreciate what the 33 million pixels can do. Okay? Don't expect, oh, look, I have it now. I have the 8K. I'm the 8K god or whatever. No, 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 no. If you want to be an 8K god, you need to have a 88 inch or 100 inch or 108 inch panel television to truly see that glorious 33 million pixels. Or if you want my recommendation, 8K laser projector will definitely give you that 155 inch fidelity with 33 million pixels. So let's talk about PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5. This is the question that I was being asked on the forums and on the Twitter and on the Facebook Messenger. People ask me, hey, Mr. 4K, should I buy the 8K television now or should I wait till 2020 November when they officially released PlayStation 5 and Xbox Anaconda? And most likely it's going to be in November, guys. They have to do it before the holiday season. And November is officially the month where holiday season kicks in. Okay? It's a very busy season, and people are buying stuff left and right. Even in the mid-October, people are buying stuff left and right. So, should you buy it in 2020? Well, here's the deal. Yes, PlayStation 5 will have HDMI 2.1 chipset built inside of it. And so will the 8K OLED and the 8K QLED and the 8K TCL and Hisense and the 8K Samsung. They will all have that HDMI 2.1 chipset. Now, in order for you to truly utilize the ultra high speed bandwidth, you have to have both your device HDMI 2.1 chipset to output that high speed bandwidth, that data, and then your TV has to have HDMI 2.1 chipset to receive that high speed bandwidth, higher speed data, and then present it and render it to your screen. That's how pretty much that works in a nutshell. However, I want you guys to understand something. Please, listen very carefully what I'm about to tell you. Like, I'm going to get maybe closer to the microphone because I want you guys to listen very, very carefully. Number one. First of all, don't dream. Don't even fantasize. Don't even have a wet dream to fantasize that somehow PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Anaconda Xbox 2 will bring you a native 8K 30 FPS or native 8K 60 FPS. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? That will not happen. Mark my words, right now, as of this date, what's today? May 28th, 2019. Because these videos have a life of its own. Mark my words, you will not see native 8K on PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Anaconda. Okay? Because even today, guys, even today, to this date, even today, with the most expensive GeForce RTX 2080 Ti Forward to Win 3 from EVGA, even to this day, you're still having a difficult time with two cards, 2080 Ti, SLI, two pair of those very expensive $1,500 each graphics card, even today, with those two graphics cards that will cost you $3,000, even today, you're going to have a difficult time reaching native 8K with 30 FPS. They can hit 60 FPS. They can barely hit like 28, 29, stay maybe around 30, 28, 29 frames per second. Even today, with those two cards, you can barely reach 30 FPS. And that's like textures has to be medium. Anti-aliasing has to be turned off. Ambient occlusion probably has to be turned off for you to reach that native 8K 30 FPS. So guys, let's not have a wet dream. Let's not fantasize about it. This is just technically not going to be possible. Okay, and I don't care what anybody says. Just there's some stuff that, you know, concrete wall. It's a concrete wall. If you smash your head against it, you're gonna die. Okay, so same thing here. We're talking about a fact, a factual thing. This is not me pulling something out of my ass. This is just a fact. A fact is the fact. If you fall from a cliff, and the cliff, it's about, I don't know, 3.5 miles up some big giant mountain with a cliff, you're going to die. That's a fact. You're going to fall to your death. All right? Or if your parachute doesn't open and you're doing some, I don't know, like a free base jumping, you're going to die. That's just a fact. All right? So same fact here is you will not be able to achieve native 8K on your Anaconda or on your glorious PlayStation 5. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Forget about it. Don't dream about it. That wet dream, you might as well just like forget about that wet dream, because that's all it's going to be, a visual thinking wet dream that it's never going to come to fruition. All right. What you need to think about is this. What are the benefits I'm going to be getting with the PlayStation 5 in 2020 November? Well, here's the number one benefit. The number one benefit is you're going to be getting HDMI 2.1 chipset, and you're going to be running majority of your games in a native 4K 60 FPS. And when you have a HDMI 2.1 ultra high speed chipset that your 8K television also has, guess what? That native 4K source of that game running at native 4K 60 FPS will look much, much better upscaled to 8K, especially if developers use a checkerboarding technique to reach that 8K resolution. What most likely you're gonna see, and what I personally think what Mark Cerny was talking about, he was referring to them using all this power that PlayStation 5 has to render the games in some sort of scaling, upscaling, checkerboard technique, shortcut they're going to be using to achieve that 8K resolution. But don't expect a native 8K 30 FPS or 60 FPS on your PlayStation 5. Mark my words, it ain't happening. So the benefit you're going to get, it's much sharper image on your 8K television, especially if they're going to be using and harnessing all that power to give us that photorealistic graphics and textures and real-time ray tracing. All of that stuff being put into that pot of 8K, it's going to be done by checkerboarding. They're going to checkerboard that 3D rendering into a checkerboard resolution that will go up to 33 million pixels. But it's not going to be natively outputted to that 33 million pixels. It's going to be scaled and upscaled to that 33 million pixels. And it's going to look good. It's going to look sharp. And this game's going to look super sharp. And like, for example, imagine Mortal Kombat native 4K 60 FPS being upscaled or checkerboard to 33 million pixels. It's going to look super, super Gillette sharp, and that's pretty good. Especially if you utilize real-time ray tracing and a much higher textures. So there's going to be some benefit of having the 8K television with PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Anaconda. your halo will look much better being upscaled to that 8K with a much higher graphical fidelity, you know, real-time ray tracing, much richer textures. All of this, whistles, bells and whistles, all that jazz will be utilized into the video game. So to answer your questions, to answer that question in the best way that I can answer it is, I personally would wait till 2020 November, when officially the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Anaconda, Xbox 2 gets released before Thanksgiving. Because remember, when they release those two consoles, they will support HDMI 2.1 chipset. Okay, and now you're gonna have a reason to purchase an 8K television to take the advantage of that HDMI 2.1 chipset. Okay, and that's a good reason to buy the 8K television. Also, you will benefit from having that HDMI 2.1 chipset. You will benefit from using 120 Hertz on the OLED. The OLED 8K will support 120 Hertz at probably 1440p, being upscaled to 8K, and you will benefit of having that 120 Hertz option on the OLED. That's another thing to think about. Okay, but I would wait till next year, holiday season 2020, and then around October, September, I would purchase a 8K television. This year, there's really no reason for you to cash in to buy something like for $6,000, $7,000, 75 inch, let's say $8,000, 75 inch 8K from Sony or 8K from Samsung. I would wait. Like I said, if you can find a 65 inch 8K television from Samsung for, let's say, $3,200 or $3,500, then I say go for it. You know, if you can find it cheap, it would be kind of interesting to see how the games look upscaled to that 33 million pixel resolution. Like, it would be cool to see how Mortal Kombat would look being upscaled to 33 million pixels. Or, you know, to see how 4K movies look upscaled to 33 million pixels. But right now at the moment, honestly guys, right now at the moment, I really don't I don't really see the reason for you guys to like go out there and waste your money, waste your hard-earned cash for 8K television. And remember what I said earlier, you're not going to get the benefit of 65-inch 8K television. You're not going to get that benefit because the 65-inch, guys, it's just not big enough for you to see all that detail. Okay? Yes, it's going to look very sharp. It's going to look super Gillette sharp, as I like to call it. But it's not all about the sharpness. It's about you seeing every and each detail. It's about you seeing every and each detail. Like on my forearms, you want to see every and each detail, right? You want to see the detail. You want to see all these hairs and everything. You want to see the detail. Now, the only way you can see that detail is if you have a bigger canvas. Why is this so difficult to understand? I mean, some people, they just don't seem to understand this. You got to have a bigger canvas, a bigger screen to appreciate that 33 million pixels. If you don't have that bigger canvas, if you don't have that bigger screen, then you will not appreciate what 33 million pixels can do. Okay? So, I hope this video helps. And I apologize about my previous video, but I had to delete that video. I know that video was doing well, was getting a lot of views. Just in 5 minutes was getting like 200, 300 views. But I had to delete that video because I can't have something like that on my channel. I mean, what's the point? If you can't hear me and if the volume it's way down and you can't hear me, what's the point? Why would I leave that garbage on my channel? That's why I deleted it, and that's why I made this video. And thank you guys all for the support. thank you all for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I really do. I do try to help you when I can. I am a busy guy, believe it or not. Today I got some things I have to take care of. I was able to do this video. So I will not be live streaming Blood and Truth PlayStation VR live stream. We're going to wait till Friday. I think Friday evening is the best time for me to live stream that game, because on Friday evening majority of you gonna be coming off from work, and you're gonna be off on the weekend. So I think Friday evening 5 o'clock is the best way for me to live stream that game. So we'll do it on Friday evening around 5 o'clock. I should be finished by 9 o'clock or 9:30 with that game, because it's not going to be like a long game. It's going to be like a short experience, I'm pretty sure. Probably by 10 o'clock I should be done with it. And I think it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience on Friday evening for me to live stream that Blood and Truth PlayStation VR game. Alright, so again, I apologize about my previous video. I hope this video answers your questions. Remember, these are my opinions. You guys can do what you want to do. You're free to do what you want to do. It's your life. It's your money. I'm not here to tell you how to live. I'm not here to tell you what to buy and how to buy. I'm just here to give you my point of view and let you know what I would do. Like, think of this as from my perspective. What Mr. 4K would do. What would I do? What would be my perspective? And that's what this really is about. It's about me giving you my perspective on what I would normally do to purchase something. So there you go. I hope this helps. And I cannot talk. I really can't talk. I don't have a clear vision anymore. This whole thing is a bunch of bullshit over here, Dylan. You got me in here to do this video. I don't care about the 8K. Who care about the 8K? I want the clear vision. I want to see what I want to see. What's that, Dylan? But yeah, the 8K would give me the clear vision, but I want the better vision. I want the 24K. I don't care about the 8K. I want the 24K. What kind of Terminator would I be if I was just an 8K? I want to be a 24K Terminator. Alright, guys. There you go. As usual, I always like to throw a little comedy, Arnold, here and there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, well, dude, cannot help you. Go cry in a corner. Ask your mama to give you some cookies. With milk, maybe that will help you. Alright, have a good one, though. Take care. See you soon.